Welcome to the Powerful Ladies podcast. I'm Kara Duffy, and today's guest is Lindsay Luttrell, Emmy-nominated producer at the Food Network, working on projects such as Guy's Grocery Games and Tournament of Champions. She's also the creator and host of Table 5 podcast, bringing your favorite chefs and restaurateurs to talk about life beyond the kitchen. In this episode, we discuss how to set yourself up for creating great work, surviving and thriving in the entertainment industry in LA, what it actually means to be an executive producer, and why being curious is truly a superpower. Well, I'd love to begin by you telling everyone who's listening your name, where you are in the world, and how would you describe all the things that you're up to?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I am Lindsay Luttrell. I live in Los Angeles in Santa Monica. I'm an executive producer with a production company that primarily focuses on Food Network culinary competition shows. So that's very fun. And I have a podcast called Table 5, and that is where I interview chefs, food enthusiasts, and people in the culinary space, kind of for like more candid conversations, because the work side is a little more have to get to the point and very focused on what's at hand that day. And the podcast is very much like kick back, tell me about yourself. So it's fun.
If you go back to 8-year-old you, would she have imagined that you are living in Santa Monica and executive producer in the food space?
There's two answers to this question for me. I see a lot of people who are like, little me would never, and I don't ever really think about little me, to be honest. Maybe I should. I think it's probably a healthy practice. But if I were to look back, I think 8-year-old me would 100% believe that I was living in LA because I've wanted to since that age. And I think she would believe that I was doing stuff in the entertainment space. I don't think she would have had a clue that I'd be in food, TV, that I would have made it to the place I am in my career, because I still don't really believe it and have moments sometimes where I have to like stop and go, oh, you're doing it? You're really doing it? So yeah, I think part of her would be like, hell yeah, you're in LA. It's what we always wanted. And the other part would be like, what are you doing?
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Destin, Florida, which is a small little beach town on the Gulf Coast right below Alabama. I was born and raised there, and people, if they know Destin, they instantly go, born and raised? I didn't know people were from there. So yeah, I'm from this cute little southern beach town.
What advantages do you think you had growing up where you had access to being outside and being by the water? I mean, I know that both of us live in California now, and I'm still caught off guard when I meet Americans who haven't been to the ocean. Like, it's like that. It's like, I expect people to say they don't have a passport, but when they say they haven't been to the ocean, I have a little brain, like I can feel the blip happen.
Yeah.
In my brain.
Yeah.
So what advantages do you think it's giving you having a life near the water?
Gosh, that's such a great question. I've never actually thought about that. I guess it's like when you grow up somewhere, you just think it's default and you don't really think about it. But I'm so connected to the water, I think. Like I grew up on the water. We had the most beautiful beaches I think I've ever been to, still to this day. When I leave to go out of town somewhere and I fly back to LA, the first thing I'm doing is taking a walk down to the beach. I just need to see it. It's such a calming presence for me. I think that the advantage of a small town living and the beach, it's like we were outside. I mean, I feel like maybe we're the last generation to have had like the dinner bell ring and you run inside. But I think that being outside, knowing the water in that way and it being a part of my life, like I hear people who are scared of the ocean or big bodies of water, and I'm so grateful that's not a phobia of mine because I have plenty. But that's a calming place for me. And even when I go home now, I'm like, when can my dad get me on the boat? When is he taking the boat out? When can I go out there? And I love to sit outside at my parents' house and be on the dock or on their back porch and have my coffee. And it's just a calming presence. I think the advantage has just been that I feel one with that sort of environment. It's like really my reset spot. I walk down to the beach almost every day.
I feel like I'm in such a world where I'm from the Northeast, and so I need to be like back in New York or back in, I need that urban East Coast moment to like fill up my cup and see my people.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, that's enough. I'd like to go back to where it's sunny and 70 most days, not the
Yeah.
but
Right.
but I have that duality. And so like when you're looking at the parts of your life and how you operate on a daily basis, and that could be professionally or personally, where do you see those dualities for yourself?
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about going home. I think is sometimes it can be stressful because you're out of your element. And when I go home, I feel like I go home for a long amount of time. I'm like, I'm going across the country. It's for wedding, but then the next week is Tucker's baseball game, so I may as well stay. And then right after that, Avery's home. So why not put it all together? And I end up being there for like 1, 2, 3 weeks. So there's definitely times where I'm like, get me out of here, because it's not my space anymore. It's not my bed. It's not, I can't go to my workout class. I have to ask my dad if I can use his office for a Zoom meeting. There's all the nuances in that way. But I also love it. I can't go to Target without running into someone who I've known my whole life and is like, oh my gosh, you're home, and like wants to give me a big hug. It's a good reset. I like to kind of be there and remember that, not like remember that time like I'm so out of it, but that feeling of this is what raised me. These are the people who raised me, the place that raised me. I woke up on my 40th birthday on the beach in Destin, and I just took a walk on that beach and was like, this is the beach that raised me. And I'm like here, and it's just special. And yeah, I mean, I experience that duality a lot. I feel like my twin sister and her family are still in Destin, my brother and his family, my parents. So going there is always a reset and a reconnection and a fill up my cup kind of experience. But I also, like the second I hit landing in LA and they're like, welcome to Los Angeles where the weather is blah, 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 and the time is this, I'm like, I'm home.
Well, I think that there's a great quote that I love from, it's actually Thomas Jefferson, I would think, wrote to his son who he's sending to Paris to kind of have his abroad experience. And he said, I'm so excited, I'm paraphrasing this, I'm so excited for you to have this trip and to have this adventure. And I also regret to inform you, you will never feel whole again. And I really get that. Like your bubble, when you leave your bubble, it's so, I love that I have a favorite restaurant in Germany and in Italy, and I have things all over the world and people that have enriched my life in so many ways, but I also really get missing the clarity of having your bubble be small and complete. How
100%. I've never heard that quote.
Well, and again,
that's incredible.
Google it because I paraphrased it, but it's roughly what he says. And
yeah, but the meaning of it is very, that resonates with me so much.
Because I think it's hard, like for the person who's left your family to go on your great adventure and to follow what you know you're supposed to do. I'm sure, like me, you have people every day being like, and when are you moving back? Like, when are you coming back?
All the time.
Is that really the end destination?
It's so funny you say that because we have a big group of like family friends that have all grown up together, and we're all over the place. I mean, mostly in the Southeast, but we're all over the place. And I remember one time we were all together and everyone kept coming up to me saying, well, when do you think you're moving home? And I looked at my friend Emily and I'm like, does anyone ask you that? You live in Atlanta. That's not home. Does anyone ask you when you're moving home? And she's like, no, never. And I'm like, yeah, that's annoying. It's like Atlanta is acceptable because it's close enough, but I'm like this rando who lives out in California. I'm like, what? So I get that a lot.
I want to come back to you and your career. A lot of people love food shows, obsessed. Like there are people who all day long on the background, just food shows are running nonstop. And there's like such a cult following for these chefs and the different shows and like, oh no, you can't like that one. This is the better food competition show. When you look at the audience that you are building things for, like what do you like find fascinating about them and love about them?
I think about this a lot actually, because in our meetings, I'm always like, but what will America think? Because we're so close to it now. We can go rogue in our thoughts or think really this way or that way. And then we're like, wait, let's bring it back to the people who are watching. And I think what I love about them is it's a true, authentic, genuinely excited fan base. I mean, they love these shows. And certainly during the pandemic and COVID times, the amount of people who were like, thank you for still putting stuff on for us to watch, because we were constantly just editing stuff we had in the bank. And I love that. I think I love that it can be someone's background show as much as they're one that they have to sit down with the family and watch on Sunday nights. Cooking does bring a lot of joy. I mean, you just think back to Julia Childs and you just like, it just makes so much sense. But I think I love that. Love her. I mean, I feel so connected to Julia Childs, and I don't even cook, but I just love her too. And I just love that about our audience. They always want, I mean, I get DMs all the time on the Table 5 Instagram of fans wanting to know about what's going to happen on TOC this year, anything new. Do y'all ever do a challenge like this? When can we see this? They're so invested and so excited. And I love that. I think that we're constantly trying to make shows for people who are truly invested and love these chefs, follow their career, see them on the street and like want to tell them they're rooting for them. And yeah, I think that's the most important part, is that we're making TV for people to have on the background as a comfort and to also want to sit down and watch the second it airs when it's new. And that's exciting.
Well, I'm glad to see that we are moving as a culture away from the crime drama and more into the world is crazy enough. Can I please have something that's going to calm my nervous system and not give me nightmares? And to me, that's
right.
The food world is.
That's so funny you say that, because I'm actually the true crime person.
Well, which I get, right? Like it's so easy to get sucked into like, oh, should I just watch Dateline all Sunday afternoon while I'm hiding from the sun? Like maybe yes, but it's nice to have options where it is wholesome and fine, and like it's gonna just be a really neat package of nothing bad is gonna happen except maybe some anxiety about a countdown clock.
Right, 100%. Yeah, it is feel good. It's feel good. It's rushed and you're rooting for someone, but it's feel good.
I'm gonna pivot a little bit because I think it's really important to just explain like what it means to be an executive producer. We hear this word or like term all the time in America because people are executive producers. It's something fancy and powerful. But if you ask someone on the street to describe what your day actually looks like, I don't think most people would know. LA might, but the rest of the country, no. So how would you explain what your job is on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I actually come up against this a lot. And I think when people hear executive producer, they assume that I'm some millionaire who's walking red carpets. And I'm like, so that's not totally true. So there's different types of executive producers, of course. You could be the person who's funding the project. You could be an actor or actress in the film who is just getting creative control. Like there's just different things. But for me, I'm an executive producer and a showrunner. So I am kind of running the show. I mean, it's kind of as it sounds. So different, going over creative, casting, the liaison between all the different teams on set. We have all these different crews, whether it be lighting, electric, culinary. For us, we have a culinary team. There's so many different groups. And then there's the executive producers and the producing team. And I also am at the helm of the producers who are getting the story. So I have a team of producers who go in to interview with these chefs. And so we discuss all of those things. So it's very much the creative process on my end of things, and kind of also the boring stuff like signing off on different things and helping come up with a schedule and like helping legal come up with series rules. But for us, it's fun because it's a bunch of the creative. Like I just get to go through and think of the fun challenges and how this is going to go and how that's going to play.
To me, it's the most entrepreneurial role in a lot of the entertainment space. And my background is in footwear, apparel, fashion, streetwear, but I was always what they call like a product merchandiser, or like I was like you, but in that space where it's like, okay, what are we going to do? Is it on budget? How many SKUs can we have? How are we going to go to market? Working with all the teams. So I think it's a unique brain that is able to be equally analytical and creative, who can have big visions, but also actually get the to-do list done at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's very transformable skills. Like you can easily, if you're an executive producer, you could be like, okay, I'm going to go work in a completely different industry, but I know how to work with people, get things done, think big, and also go down to the nitty-gritty detail to make sure nothing is missed.
Yes.
And that's just, I think, how, like, this might be how our brains work, but I can't imagine functioning differently. And I'm sure you've been like a translator between maybe legal or corporate folks and the artists and the chefs and the creatives.
Yeah.
And you start to see like, oh my gosh, like you guys really speak a completely different language.
Yeah.
You know, how, when you're looking at the challenge that you're facing in that space, is it often fighting for budget to get a project done, or is it keeping the wheels on the bus so that it can actually go to market?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who are fighting the budget. That's not me. Mine's more keeping the wheels. It's like, we got to keep this thing moving. And a lot of times you're waiting to actually find out if the budget is approved, but your timeline is so short that we got to keep moving. And I think that's where I come into play, or I'm team up with I have a bunch of co-EPs that we work with all the time. And that's our job, is keep the wheels moving, keep things moving forward, always thinking 7 steps ahead. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is anticipating what could come, or depending on who the host is of the show or who the network exec is or who you're dealing with, I guess, on a regular basis, to know their wants and needs and how they want things to go, and be anticipating how you're going to meet that or check that off the list. So that's kind of always thinking a couple of steps ahead is really where I'm at.
When you're good at what you do as you are, it looks like you have a magic wand that you pull out to like fix things. Because like, what's maybe the most ridiculous request you think you've gotten to fix or solve?
Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm like, I know there are some, and I'm just like, let me think. Oh my word. I mean, it's funny because I always say this, like, the more we solve the problem, the more the crazy requests are going to come in. Yes. So of course I can't think of a certain issue right now, but there have been so many times. I mean, we work on a show called Guys Grocery Games. So the whole point of it is that it's funny and there's games. And in the morning when we meet with Guy, if he has a fun, crazy idea, it's like, okay, by lunch, we got to have that figured out. But it is just kind of the crazy the request. It doesn't matter that it's crazy or that it feels daunting or hard. Like, we're most likely going to figure it out. And then that's why we keep getting asked the crazy request.
Well, and being someone who has been in that area where the crazy requests are going to come up, someone's going to ask you to pull a rabbit out of your hat. To me, that's why I end up leaning in so much more on how do we have everything else we can control, like, done and ready.
Yes.
Because we can't wait till the end. We can't live in this like, oh, we'll figure it out when we get there. You're like, no, we're going to figure out 1,000 things when we get there. How do we have the other 1,000 done?
100%. I feel like I'm the same way. I'm like, what cannot throw me off? Yeah. Like, what do I know I can have done so that's not on the list and it's not going to throw me off? Because there's going to be so many other things that get thrown at us. So I feel exactly the same way.
So how are you preparing yourself? Like, because I think like feeling confident and like knowing like you are handled is like one of the things to like have done in advance, I think. So what are things you're doing from rituals or self-care, or are you wearing the same, like I'm always wearing black every day I'm going on set. Like, are there things like that you do to just make your life easier so you can go, I'm handled and ready so I can handle everything else?
Yeah. So for a long time, I wasn't doing that. And I think I realized pretty quickly into moving up and realizing there was more responsibility for me. I'm not preparing myself correctly. And especially because a lot of the shows we travel, and so we're in a hotel, so you're already a little off kilter. I think what I do, and I've started doing this more so and once I got to this certain place in my career, but it does not matter what time I have to be somewhere. I have to give myself a proper, like, at least 30 minutes where I'm not rushed. So like, even if I have to be on set at 7 a.m. and I have to get there from Santa Monica to Burbank, which if you don't know, that's a far way. It is like, I still have to give myself that time so that I don't meditate, but it's almost like be quiet and like think about it. I have to make my coffee the same way every morning. I'm a freak about my iced latte. And if it's not right, it will ruin my day. Like, my mom jokes that I'm always like, I need a proper latte and only I know how to make it right. So I do things like that. I mean, that's like my self-care is like having my latte, having time to take just like my hot shower in the morning. And like funny about the true crime, I will listen to true crime. That's my thing. So most of the time getting ready, I have a true crime podcast on. I mean, just last night while I was cooking dinner, I was listening to a Dateline episode because I had no new episodes in the queue for any of my series that I listen to. I'm like, oh, I'll throw on Dateline, which is weird that it calms me down and I don't know why. But yeah, I do things like you're saying, to make sure I'm coming in without feeling any sort of flustered or chaotic behavior, because set is chaotic. I mean, there's just no way around it. On the best of days with everything running smoothly, it's still chaotic. And chaotic energy that can weigh on people. And when this is so random and kind of off topic, but I have really bad claustrophobia. And when I first moved across the country and was having to fly home a lot, flying really fed into that in a weird way where I just started feeling very trapped. Yeah. And I went to a therapist, and I remember he said, he was like, for you to feel less anxious, you have to put practices in place that just help you not go into the day anxious. Flying is you're already a little anxious, whether you have claustrophobia or not. And so he was like, if that means not checking a bag, then you need to learn how to pack in a carry-on. If that means getting to the airport 2 hours early, great. If it means actually showing up with just enough time so that you can roll in and not think about it, great. But you have to decide what those are. And I kind of look at that with everything now. Like, I have to control how I'm going to go into something and how I'm going to present my best self. And if that requires this of me in the morning, great. And if it requires this, great.
I've had similar experiences, right, where I'm currently taking on, I really felt the need this year to do things slowly. And I don't like the word slow. I know. I don't like it. So I'm like, I need something different, because I'm going to be irritated every time I'm telling myself to go slow. And then I stumbled upon the Italian phrase la calma. And that I can embrace, because it's the idea that we're going to take our time making our coffee. We're going to take our time doing our skincare. We're going to take our time preparing for the day or wrapping up. Like, because I will find myself going on a walk and I'm one block down the street and I'm like, why am I sweaty? I'm like, this is a walk. We're not going on a run. We don't need to be all this jammed up energy. I'm like, no, we can enjoy this and be calm.
Yes.
So I'm trying to bring that, how do we do things calmly, to everything.
I love that.
I'll be running at 1000% speed and then stop to have lunch and be like, why am I having a panic attack? And I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Because you've been 90-0 all day? Oh, that makes so much. We are the same. I'm realizing, Kara, we are the same. I'm the same way. And when you said slowly, and you hate that word, I do too. If I instantly think lazy, and lazy is like a major thing for me. But I was going to say, I think intentional is like another good word for that. Because you're like, I mean, I like your Italian version better, but I have been trying to do the same thing where I'm like, just be a little more intentional. Because then the intention is to be intentional, you have to kind of stop and relish in it a little bit, or at least take it slower or live in it a little bit longer. And so I love that. So what is it? La calma?
La calma. Yeah, it's calm with an A at the end and the la at the beginning. So yeah, la calma.
So chic. Yeah, I love that. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah. You also had made the brave and bold step with all your free time to launch your own podcast.
Yes.
What made you decide to jump in, and how are you finding the time to do it?
Great question. And you've done the same. I think it was something I just couldn't stop thinking about. I had always wanted to do some version of, when I was a kid, I was going to be Julia Roberts. And that's why 8-year-old me would not be surprised I'm here, because 8-year-old me was like, you're a star. Adult me never tried to even be an actor. Like, that just wasn't something I actually wanted to do. But I was taking classes in on-air hosting, and I love that idea of like interviewing. And I think the more I got into interviewing on set, the more I was like, oh wait, I really do love this. Even though I'm having to ask a certain set of questions that are like, tell me how you're battering your fish. Why is this crispy? Like all that. I still loved it. I think I'm a natural conversationalist, and it took me a long time to like say something positive about myself, where you can actually own your skill set that's valuable to you. But I do think I'm a natural conversationalist, but I'm also very curious. Every first date I ever went on, I would always leave and be like, oh my gosh, did I just interview that guy the whole time? Because I just am inquisitive like that. And I shared with a friend who we worked together. And I said, I've always wanted to do some sort of like interview thing. And now that I'm in the food space, I think about Dax Shepard's podcast, Armchair Expert, which I'm a big fan of. And I think what drew me to his podcast was his kind of candid conversational way of talking to people. And Matthew McConaughey could be on there to promote his book, but you're not even talking about the book till the very end. It's just like, what are we talking about? Mine's a little more structured than that, but I kind of looked at that as my North Star. And she was very encouraging in telling me to do it. And so were several other friends I'd shared that with. And then finally I was like, yeah, why am I not doing this? I'm just going to do it. And it took all the courage to ask Antonia Lofaso to be my first guest. And she was like, really? Yeah, of course. Why are you freaking out? And I'm like, oh, yeah, why did I wait so long to ask? But I had to be ready. And I think I just love it so much. I mean, I always say it's a labor of love, as I don't know that I always make the best time for it. Sometimes I've been inconsistent and it just like pains me. But when you're on set and your life is literally 7 to 10 p.m. making this show and then hour-long commute home and wake up, rinse and repeat, you're just like, I don't have the energy to even think about listening to this episode through, to edit it, to put it out, to promote it like I can't. And I beat myself up about it, and I feel like such a failure. I'm like, the people who actually like it, they're gonna be so sad. But I've gotten better about just letting letting it be what it is. And I'm so grateful for the people who listen and the audience that Table 5 has. And I find the time when I can, and when I have like off times, I'm like recording as much as I can to have as many in the bank as possible. And I think I'm getting better at navigating work and balancing it with the podcast. But yeah, I just had to start it. And I was so glad I did. And I had the support of so many people. And it just has been very fun and exciting. And I learn something new all the time.
I mean, this podcast is one of my favorite things that I do. When I'm working with clients, I'm often asking them, like, what is your fastest mode of communication? Is it writing? Is it speaking? Is it preparing, like a whole presentation? Whatever that is, make sure your life is mostly that.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
for me, it's just talking. Like, I would rather talk and listen all day and get all these things done. If you ask me to write something down, I'm like, oh, no. I can, and I'm actually, I am a good writer, but the idea of having to slow down enough to write it versus like, can we just talk about it? Can you just, I'm saying into a script, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. All my friends send me that meme. I mean, I get it at least once a week of listening to my friends' audio message like a podcast, because I'm like, I don't even want to text. I hate texting. I hate typing. I'm like, hey, so anyway, and I'm like sending audio messages all day long. Now, if I don't, people are like, are you okay? Where are you? Why aren't you sending this an audio message? So I'm the same. Speaking is my form, my easiest form.
And to go back to your comment about dating, like, I also have to like really pace myself with the questions, but I have had so many instances where I am just like, again, befuddled at how do you not have questions?
Right.
Like, to whomever I'm on a date with, I'm like, that's it? You've asked all the questions you might want to ask me?
Yeah. Are we done here?
Okay. Really? Like, I could talk to anyone and not run out of questions.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it is quite,
the curiosity, the interest, the finding the thing that makes them interesting or what the other connection opportunity is. Yeah, I feel like there's an opportunity for men in the LA area to prepare questions, perhaps, and also
you're like, ask a friend if you don't have them on your own. Ask a girlfriend what they want to be asked.
Yes, that, and maybe learn how to hang a shelf, because I'm also shocked at how many of you. This is very traditional of me, but I really don't want to be dating someone that I have more carpentry and
handy skills
than. I really would like to delegate that. I'd like to delegate that, any landscaping things and car things. And so
step it up, people.
It's really amazing.
Yeah. My dad is like that quintessential like Southern man who can do it all. And he's a woodworker and he was a financial advisor. I mean, like, he just did it all. And I didn't realize that just wasn't how all men were. So that has been an interesting learning curve to be like, oh, you don't all know how to just make things with your hands? Okay. So yeah, the handy skills, I understand that. I have my own little toolbox and I'm like, I'd rather someone else be using it.
Yeah. Yes. No, I had to this is such an adulting thing. I had to have someone come and like clean my dryer out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is.
So adulting. Also, my mother's been on my case about it for like 3 years now. So I finally did it and made it feel like I was scammed because it took 20 minutes and cost way too much. But I tried for so long to be like, I think I can just YouTube this and do it myself.
Yeah.
And then it came to like having to take the entire like exterior part of the dryer off and disconnect the gas. And I was like, no,
don't trust myself.
No.
Yeah. Exactly. Sometimes you got to throw money at a problem. So I understand that.
For someone who's listening who would love to get into TV work, would love to work on a food-based show, like, is this something you just call people up and you're like, yes, there's job opportunities all the time. I want to work for the Food Network. Thank you. Like, how do you get into this? How do you start building your proximity of power in this space?
Gosh, it's funny. There's no one way that anyone does anything in the entertainment industry. Certainly not the same entrance into the entertainment industry. I never thought I would be here working for Food Network, but I came through it through casting. I was like casting one of the shows and then here we are. But I think it's, for our company, we're always looking for entry-level people because we like to move people up. So we want someone to come in as a PA and then be an AP and then be a producer. And so I think it's, if you can come in, and this is going to sound so old school of me, but I mean, I really mean it. I think that you're always looking for people who are passionate about what they're doing and are actually going to do it. It's not just like, this sounds fun, so here we go. So I think if they're in the space and they want to do it, like, get their resume to the right people, and then it's just prove yourself. I mean, I think in entertainment, I mean, I remember the first thing I learned was like, you're only as good as your last job, because a lot of times we're freelance, and certainly my company is. And so it's like, if you're not putting your best foot forward every time and not actively trying to do the person's job that's above you, then you're not really on the right trajectory. I think I get a lot of like word of mouth. I have people call and say, hey, my cousin's moving to LA. Can you talk to them? And of course, I'm always willing to do that. I'm a member of like our alumni association from the University of Alabama, and I get those emails a lot. Someone's coming from the communications school or the film school and they want to do this. And I try and be as accommodating as possible in that, because I had someone do that for me and I didn't know soul when I moved out here, which was, sometimes I'm like, I can't believe I did that. But I had a very nice man that my aunt knew who was a producer, and he was like, yeah, I can give you an internship. It's for free. I'm like, I'll take it. And then I just kept making sure those people would call me back. So I think it's getting your foot in the door, however that may be, whatever your connections are, using your network, and then just, you got to hustle and prove yourself that you know what you're doing and that you want to be there. I think wanting to be there is probably the biggest thing I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I think that there's lots of conversations about how different generations are showing up to work and work expectations, and there's some good parts about things that younger generations aren't tolerating anymore. And I also think that there's a little bit of the correlating compensation with effort that sometimes is getting missed in the conversation. And I don't know if it's tied to there being a gap because of the 2008 crisis and then COVID, of like, who has any corporate experience. Like, a lot of people have been freelance and then remote, and you haven't been in a room with enough people to be like, oh, like, it's not being modeled for you in the same way.
Yeah.
So I've gotten called in by some clients to say, like, I don't know what the breakdown is, but there's this gap of what it means to show up and perform and like be providing extraordinary support. Are you seeing that gap in your space, or is it just, is there so much more pressure that there isn't room for that gap to exist?
Oh no, that gap very much exists, I think. It is definitely a generational thing, and I certainly am not dogging that generation. I think so much of the younger generation prioritizing themselves in a different way than I ever thought was possible when I was that age and coming up, and assistant level and all of those things. I think it's harder to live in this world than it used to be. It's harder to afford to live in these cities than it used to be. and the work is here. I know someone who had to leave LA and is still trying to do our job remotely, but it was like, I can't live there anymore. And so I do understand that. So I understand kind of coming, you think you're doing this job and you don't understand where you're not getting paid enough to do it and to live there. But I also think there's a different work ethic. And I think there's a difference in like the hustle that I think my generation had, which was like prove yourself, prove yourself, prove yourself, and like keep being the best, and like don't let anything slip through the cracks. And I don't know that I see that with a little bit of the younger generation. And I do wonder if that's more because they are prioritizing their mental health in a way that we never did. They are prioritizing a little bit of their peace like we never did. So I don't even know if I'm like, is it good or bad? It's just, I do notice the gap.
I also notice, I think there's, for myself, I am a classic example of that millennial expectation of we're going to have a bigger, better life than what our parents had. And for the most part, I have. But it's also been a really interesting experience where I pretty quickly went to a certain economic tier. And then it's a pretty big, all the tiers are pretty big bands. But then the rules for the tiers have shifted in my lifetime. And so it's been really interesting to see, I think, myself and peers be like, well, I thought we were maybe upper middle class, but I don't know if I am anymore because what's happened? And this is coming from people who have degrees, have executive level positions, own businesses, maybe own multiple, have built a lifestyle of like, oh, I can go to restaurants, I can travel. And whether you own a home or not, like it kind of was more of like, if you cared about it, it was a priority.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, wait, can I do all the things that I even did 5 years ago?
Yeah.
It's a really strange financial environment to be in right now, because like, what's the next, you're supposed to get promoted to what? Like owning all the things?
Yeah. I go from this to like multimillionaire. How?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I do think that it's an interesting space of like, yes, you need to work hard because look at what we've done and it works. And it's not so much that it works from the financial perspective, but I know that the only way to make incredible things happen is that work ethic.
Yeah.
Is the attention to detail, is the being able to pull that magic wand out. Like, I want to be making extraordinary things.
Right.
And it's sometimes looking at people and being like, I don't think you care about making extraordinary things. Like, how would you show up this way if you did?
Yeah.
And I think that for me is the gap, because I fully respect that we all need to have more boundaries and we all need to be prioritizing ourselves outside of being someone who produces things.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to make cool shit. It's really fun to make things and get acknowledged for it and make things happen that people didn't believe could be possible.
Right.
But we can't do it by showing up 50%.
Right. And I think there is what you're saying. It's like, you have to take pride in it. If you're not taking pride in it, then you can't show up more than 50%. You're just not going to. So if you think it's cool to be making this, and at the end of it, you want to tell people that you were a part of it, then you kind of got to be a part of it while we're making it. You want to make your stamp especially in production, everyone in those crews. We have huge crews and every single person has a role, and that role needs to be there or it doesn't work. So there's no greater effort. It's like, not like if we don't have PAs, then the set doesn't run properly. Yeah. And if we don't have the showrunner, then all these people don't know. It's like everyone has a spot and no one is greater than the other. And I think if everyone shows up taking pride in their piece of the puzzle, it shows.
You can't be an executive producer and not be entrepreneurial. Like, you have to be acting like you own it 100%. And all those, even the PA does, right? So,
yeah.
And I think that's also a piece of it too, that I don't know where that part has missed in some education and some passing down the mythology of what it means to make things. Because there's an element of like, no one else is going to do it if we don't. And
right.
So it's like, okay, like, who's going to do it? It's like, we are.
Yeah. That's us.
Like, there's not like a secret team that we don't talk to, or there's no elves that come in the middle of the night and clean it up.
If only.
What are you most proud of when you look at your career and where you're at today, like what brings you the most pride for yourself?
Oh my gosh. I think if I just had this conversation with my dad actually just not too long ago where I'm like, I think what I'm most proud of and I will always be most proud of is the move to LA as a whole. Yeah. I wouldn't have this career if I didn't make that leap. And I was young and I was leaving my twin sister, my comfort zone, my family, every friend I had ever made. Like the idea of moving across the country felt like I may as well be going to a different country. I think that was like a really pivotal moment in my life that had to teach me I had to learn how I wanted to represent myself in the world because no one knew me. Where everywhere else I was a twin sister. I was Jim and Susan's daughter. You always had these markers of who you were. And I think that's probably something I'm most proud of is the move. And it catapulted me into a whole nother universe. It felt like just the growth that I experienced was insane. And I'll always treasure that time in my life. Even the difficult parts of moving here and being like, what? I have to make money and I don't know anyone. How's that going to happen? But I think today, what I'm most proud of is joining a company, and I moved up through that company. I'm now at a showrunner executive level. And when I see my name in the credits still on shows, I'm just like, there's like a little bit of that little 8-year-old in me that's like, oh my gosh, I am proud of that. I'm proud that I'm making stuff that I believe in. I'm proud that it shows that people want to have on in the background. I'm proud that it's wholesome and cool and like exciting and showcasing the talent of these incredible humans. Yeah. And then the podcast. I mean, I know that's a lot for what are you most proud of? And I just named 3 things. But I think starting the podcast was like a big leap of faith. So
I may argue that only 3 things is not enough for your list.
Yeah.
It's moving to California is hard. Of all the places I've lived, it's been the hardest place to like find your footing, find your people, like make.
Yeah.
I think so many people who have moved to the LA area are proud of it because you really you earn stripes if you've stayed.
Yeah.
And if you've stayed and been able to have a career and have a career that you actually want, like talk about getting those like game tokens, you're like, wow,
yeah.
like,
yeah,
I've worked hard and this is like also a little bit of a miracle. Like, wow.
Yeah. I have a good friend who, bless her, because every now and then she has this conversation with me and I'm like, thank you for like saying this, but we'll just be on the phone. Like I met her out here. She's been one of my best friends ever since. And she'll just be like, I can't believe you're still there. And you're still there, not struggling. Like, she's like, I had to leave because I was just like, I can't do this anymore. What's happening? Like, what is this life? This is not for me. And she's like, and you're still there. That's so cool. And I'm like, thank you for saying that. Because she gets it. Like anyone else is like, whatever, you can move whenever you want. But I'm like, no, she understands what it takes to live in Los Angeles and how hard that is and what it means to still be here. And she understood that it was a dream of mine and I'm living a dream of mine, and that is special. So I always get very excited when she'll every now and then be like, whoa, how cool. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, girl.
That's a great segue into how do you define a powerful lady or define just powerful ladies as a term?
Oh gosh, I think being a powerful lady means like knowing who you are and trusting that enough, that even when you are evolving, allowing yourself to change and to want different things and to not feel boxed in by something you've already done and created or what other people think. Yeah, I think being a powerful lady is kind of less about knowing or having all the answers, I guess, and more about how you show up for people. Like, are you someone that people can rely on? Are you creating experiences where people feel seen, at least for me, and staying curious? I think being powerful is being curious. And I don't know, I've built my career around storytelling and being curious. And I think there's a real power in that, like making people feel something and bringing them into a moment that they'll remember.
Well, I think what's also really incredible about the food in entertainment space is that it didn't exist that long ago.
Right.
It's a whole new world of thought leaders and celebrities, and like chefs were not famous before.
No, very few. Yeah.
Very few. And it's also a category that brings so many different people together because we all eat and
Right.
there's so much history and storytelling, and there's so much emotion tied to the food space as well, that whether you are a fan or you're a chef, that whole spectrum is part of the human experience. And I imagine that it's an area of the entertainment world that has maybe less of the BS parts of the entertainment world because it's newer, because it's more diverse, because it has, again, it's just different. Like, it was only a clean slate to build from versus sitcoms or other parts of the Hollywood space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any chefs that you have discovered or met yourself that you're just like, wow, they are incredible humans?
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, so many. I recently got to work with Chef Jonathan Waxman, who is an icon, and I just love him, and that was just so cool. I mean, Antonio Lafaso is someone that I just adore on levels I can't even explain. I mean, really all of them. I'm like, if I don't say them all, I would be remiss. You know, I'm like, they're incredible. I feel very lucky to be in a space where they have become co-workers in a way and friends. And I've had a lot of them on the podcast, and they're always so complimentary. I joke with, there's a chef, his name's Kevin Lee out of Oklahoma City, and I discovered him like casting a show, and then he came on that show, he did well, he won. Then he came on again and he won. And then we got him on another show and he won. And then he won that show twice. And then now he's on Tournament of Champions. And then I was just at the South Beach Food and Wine Festival, and I saw him at his booth, and he like gave me his merch. Like, I have his sticker on my phone, and like we were laughing, and I was like, don't forget where you came from, like kidding around. I'm like, I should get a percentage. Like, I discovered you, like giving him a hard time. But it's just so insane. Like, we know the celebrity chef world, but we have shows where we call in just chefs that don't have that platform yet, but they have incredible restaurants and skills, and they want to put them to the test in shows as well. And then you're just like, the untapped talent out there in the culinary space is just insane. So, I mean, all of them. Like, I'm a huge fan of Michael Voltaggio. Manish Chauhan is like salt of the earth. I mean, just every single one of them it's an honor to get to know them and be in that space.
Being someone who was a huge fan of Anthony Bourdain's show, I do feel like I haven't found that replacement show yet. Are there any that you recommend? Do you feel like it is still a gap? Because it was part like anthropological and cultural and food. I'm missing that show. So
yeah,
do you have a good replacement suggestion?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a full replacement because, well, how could you know? But I think that Phil Rosenthal does a good job of kind of getting out there with Somebody Feed Phil and kind of immersing himself in wherever he is, the culture, the food scene, and like wanting to tap into those areas. And I think he does a good job. I like his show a lot. But it's a different vibe, but he is doing the traveling and the experience focused type of show, which I do enjoy.
Amazing. Well, yeah. I am so thankful that you were a yes to me and to the Powerful Ladies.
Oh my gosh, me
glad
too.
That Carlene connected us.
Yes.
And I just want to acknowledge you for being curious and sticking with it and making incredible things happen. And for crying out loud, like, being an Emmy-nominated producer is like such a big deal.
Thank you.
So thank you for doing your part to kick some butt, make things happen, and give us something that brings us joy. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It's an honor to be included on this podcast. I think that what you're doing is incredible, and I love listening to the episodes and hearing everyone's powerful lady journeys.
For everybody who wants to follow, support you, listen to your podcast, where can they do all of those things?
So my podcast is on almost every platform, so wherever you listen. And I have an Instagram for that called @Table5Pod. And soon to be website will just be my name, lindsayluttrell.com. So it's in the works and very exciting. And then my Instagram is @LuluLuttrell. And that's kind of I'm posting food and just everyday life stuff. And then the podcast has all my guests and fun clips from those episodes. And yeah, so they can follow me on either one of those platforms.
And then my last question for today is, how can we help you? What do you need? Big, small, personal, professionally? What's on your to-do list or to manifest list?
Oh, wow. That's so sweet. I guess I'll dream big here. I would say any opportunity for the podcast to reach new audiences, collaborate with new chefs, new voices, just continue to open doors that let me explore even bigger projects and storytelling. That would be my top of my manifest list for Table 5.
I love it. Well, again, thank you so much for your time today, and hopefully I'll get to meet you in real life in LA sometime soon, and maybe dinner with Carlene or something.
Yes, I would love that. That would be so fun. Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome.
Thanks for listening to the Powerful Ladies podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe, leave us a review, or share it with a friend. Head to thepowerfulladies.com, where you can find all the links to connect with today's guest, show notes, discover episodes, enjoy bonus content, and more. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode and new amazing guest. Make sure you're following us on Instagram or Substack @PowerfulLadies to get the first preview of next week's episode. You can find me and all my socials at karaduffy.com. Until then, I hope you're taking on being powerful in your life. Go be awesome and up to something you love.